I love movies.
Hello and welcome back to the Mad Cinema Show. I'm Scott G.
And I'm Phil D.
Philip,
Yeah.
where were you when you first heard that they were making Lord of the Rings into a movie? Like,
I
remember?
wonder if I saw a trailer. Because I really feel like I saw a trailer at another movie. And that's how
Yeah.
at the beginning of another
Yeah.
movie.
Well, because that's how you figured out about these movies.
Yeah, so how, because I mean, I wasn't on the internet all the time.
Yeah,
looking up the new shit. So
But
what?
you remember, your reaction to that would have been
Oh, yeah, I was
Like,
skeptical.
skeptical about it?
That was my very first reaction, was skeptical.
Yeah.
It
Man, I
looked
was
cool.
hype.
See, I thought it looked really cool, but I was skeptical. I was like, I don't know. I don't think they can pull it off.
I think there was a lot riding on it.
There was a lot.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because I mean, you got to think back then, Lord of the Rings was seen as like this unfilmable thing,
Yeah.
you know, and they tried it mostly with the animation.
Well, the Bakshi film,
Bakshi,
which is a lot of rotoscoping, but
Yeah.
it still is animation, and I don't think I mean, because how far does it get into the story?
Okay, so it's The Hobbit, and then Lord of the Rings, which pretty much ends
middle of Two
middle
Towers.
of Two Towers. Yeah. And then you had The Return of the King.
Does it get to
So for the most part, I think you had the whole thing, but it was missing certain things.
It was definitely missing
details.
things. Yeah. Well, but
Which I think that's what I was more familiar with, because I didn't really read the books for real.
But you definitely watched the Hobbit cartoon.
Absolutely, I
loved
watched
that
all
one.
those cartoons.
I love the music so much in the original Hobbit.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
What is it?
Oh, what shall we do with the funny little thing?
Break the. Oh yeah. Bend the forks and crack the plates.
That's what
Bilbo Baggins hates. Yeah, and the opening one, the greatest adventure
in all of the land. Dude, seriously.
I love that shit.
That's a good one. The goblins, dude. Man, I can't remember what the song is, but
Yeah.
it's where it's showing like the throat open with the goblin, and he has the two throats that go down.
Right.
And they're just, man, they were so menacing looking. I love that art style so much. You've seen Last Unicorn, right?
Yeah.
Same artist. I don't know who did
cool.
that animation, to be honest. But
Yeah,
I love it so much.
Yeah.
But that is completely different from the Ralph Bakshi stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, but you read I guess that's why you were, more skeptical.
Yeah.
Because you actually read through the books.
Yeah, okay, so a little backstory on that. When I was really young, I don't remember who introduced me to The Hobbit, but somebody just gave me The Hobbit like, hey, I bet you'd like this.
Yeah.
And I was, pretty advanced reader
Right.
for my age, so I got through that.
Nerd.
And loved it because
Yeah.
because I'd already seen the cartoon.
Right.
So I saw the cartoon first, then read The Hobbit. And when I was in 3rd grade, I took took one of those accelerated reading tests.
Yeah.
You remember that, guys?
Yeah.
Huh? That bullshit.
Yeah, that
and you had to
bullshit.
take them stupid fucking exams that like if you were tricky enough, you could just bullshit your way through and
yeah.
make a 60, and you'd be all right.
You'd be all right. Yeah.
I didn't do that at all.
You're not speaking from experience.
definitely
You knew a guy.
Yeah, that's what I did. That's what I did to pass the Harry Potter books.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I listened to other people talk about the Harry Potter books enough to where I understood the broad strokes of the story, but I didn't like the books because I just got done reading Lord of the Rings.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so I had a college grade reading level when I was in 3rd or 4th grade, and they showed me the books that they had on in the library because I went to a shitty public school, and the college grade reading level books were War and Peace. No.
No, fuck that.
Especially not in 4th fucking grade.
Yeah, no.
Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
And then a handful of like Little House on the Prairie books that weren't quite college grade, but they were like high school grade. And I was like, well, Lord of the Rings is the obvious choice here.
Obviously. Yeah.
Oh
man, you didn't go for the Little House on the Prairie?
I eventually read a couple of those.
Oh yeah,
and they were man. I don't like those books.
Yeah,
but they at least have this window into that style of life.
Oh, okay.
That's kind of cool. You know,
gotcha.
Everything made of gingham and you buy a bag of stuff for
hay.
A
There's
penny.
hay everywhere.
Everything's hay. All
Everything
the pillows
is hay.
are fucking. They're either hay or like a dead goat or something.
Right.
You know? But yeah, I specifically remember this one part from one of those Little House on the Prairie books where they're talking about being on a straw mattress and how they had to keep piling the deer skins on so that they could keep warm enough.
Yeah.
Nice. But no, reading Lord of the Rings though was a really good experience. I do remember having a sour taste in my mouth for the very end of Return of the King.
Oh, okay.
Because of the normal ending in the book, which is the burning of the Shire.
Oh, you're talking about the ending of the movie, like
the way the books ended.
The books ended.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. When I read those books in 4th grade, 3rd grade, 4th grade, I don't know, it was one of them. I did not like the very end of the books, but I loved Fellowship so much. Two Towers is hard to read.
Yeah, well, you were talking about the way that they space out the stories.
The pacing,
they follow, one person,
and
each.
In retrospect, it's probably not hard to read because you get what's going on more.
Right.
But when I was a kid, and this is my first introduction to Lord of the Rings, period,
right,
that was a complicated story to follow, and I don't think I understood a lot of what was happening in Two Towers. Especially the political side of things. Like, I got the broad strokes, but The Fellowship was a book that I was able to really sink my teeth into.
Yeah.
And it's always been my cornerstone of this is what I love about Lord of the Rings.
Right. Well, and I think that the movie pulls that off really well.
Really well.
I mean, I prefer Two Towers as a movie over the other two.
It's good.
But Fellowship is super solid.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing as how that's the one we're talking about today, see how I did that? I segued.
A segue.
Am I getting good at this yet?
You're working on it.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
Leveling up.
But anyway, so the movie.
Yeah, the movie.
2001.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, man.
So
well, then,
what is?
Then would it have been Gladiator that I saw the trailer to Lord of the Rings on? Maybe, because I definitely saw Gladiator.
Yeah.
I can't think of what else I would have seen though. Right before Lord of the Rings, that would
have shown that
2001,
possibly.
Dude.
Yeah.
About a 20-year-old movie.
Close to, man.
Mm-hmm. Wow. You think they're going to do a 20th anniversary big-ass Lord of the Rings collection and actually finally release The Hobbit in 48 frames per second?
Doubt it. Doubt it. They're still... Dude, they've been trying to get that Lord of the Rings series off the ground forever, and it's...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is supposed to be the short stories, right? The Bilbo short stories.
Yeah, as far as I know.
Which that would work. I mean, that would work just fine. I think that's how they should have gone about the Witcher situation. Is gone for the short stories rather than having a stringing narrative. I think it would have worked out better.
Yeah,
actually, like Hercules.
Well, yeah, or if they would have made a good show. That would
actually like Hercules.
That would have helped. Actually, like Hercules. That would have helped that show out a lot.
Just try to be more like Hercules. Once you get Kevin Sorbo on The Witcher, maybe shit would be better.
Maybe it'll be good.
Not as Geralt, just there. That's
just
all
there.
I'm saying.
as Kevin Sorbo.
It's Kevin Sorbo, yeah. Kevin Sorbo in The Witcher.
Yeah.
He's just his buddy.
Yeah.
So,
He just wanders on screen, says, "Hi, I'm Kevin Sorbo," and then
Sorbo.
walks off.
I'm going to make this better.
I'm going.
But no, the
I don't think Kevin Sorbo could make the Lord of the Rings better. Segways, baby.
No, he's no scene being.
No, he is no scene being.
Yeah,
Dude, okay, so let's get into the characters.
okay.
So Boromir.
Boromir, dude.
Yeah. What a
twisted man.
what a conflicted soul.
That's really what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Twisted motivations.
Well, and he gets pulled off as, in this film specifically, he's kind of framed as from the beginning he's going to be the problem child of the group.
Yeah. He's got too much angst and nervous energy.
Right.
He's combative with Aragorn.
Yeah.
He kind of tests his authority pretty early on.
Pretty close.
Yeah, you know that Boromir is going to cause a problem, and then he does,
And
but
then
immediately regrets it.
And it's so sad when he dies.
Man, he gets those thick arrows put at him.
Yeah, well, what was it? Like rebar.
Like rebar.
Like rebar thick.
Jesus, those arrows are huge. Uncool. It
Yeah.
would go clean through a deer. Those are
Right.
huge arrows.
you couldn't even eat the deer.
Well,
Just
what'd you shoot it with?
rebar.
Ugh. There was some game where you have like a gun that shoots hot rebar. Is that fucking Half-Life 2? I don't know. Which, by the way, guys, Half-Life Alyx is coming out next week. Oh my god.
I knew you would have been excited for that.
For Half-Life Alyx?
Yeah,
man.
absolutely.
Yeah. Oh my
it's
god.
VR too.
Well, yeah, and I mean, I loved Half-Life 2.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not a huge Half-Life 1 fan. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine, but I didn't get the nostalgia factor of when it came out.
Right.
So it's kind of like The Witcher. I really like Witcher 2, but I went back to play the first one, and I was like, well, I see the charm, but I guess I missed it in the right window.
Right.
It's kind of like if you played a bunch of Quake 2 or 3. Well, really, if you played a bunch of Quake 3 and then went back, then you'd be like, well, okay.
Yeah.
It's,
see what you're
it's the way
saying.
these go.
Well, and that's kind of how I feel about Fellowship of the Rings.
Oh, yeah.
I feel.
God damn, Scott, your segues. How are you segueing?
Woo!
Jeez.
You just lean into him, man. You just lean into him.
Mr. Flow over here.
But because I remember the height wave of this coming out.
Oh, totally.
This was a big deal.
It was a big fucking deal, dude.
I was a fan of Star Wars, but I wasn't in the thick of that. You know what I mean? I wasn't in the thick of the beginning of that fandom.
No, but I mean, we were at least around for what was going on with. See, even when Phantom Menace came out, we were still a little young.
Yeah,
we were young enough. We were old enough to where we were like, "Cool, new Star Wars."
Yeah,
but we weren't old enough to be like, "No, this needs to be like this."
Yeah,
and then,
and really scrutinizing and coming out, going to the theaters the first days, sitting in those big crowds of people cheering and laughing and having a good time. Like that is the first and only time I've experienced something like that.
Yeah, agreed.
Agreed.
I remember specifically. Because I went to the theater to see all three of them. Yeah, I did go see all three of them. Okay. The first one just took me a little bit to go see. I watched the second one opening night though.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting there in the theater. Do you remember the scene when they're about to do the siege on
Helm's Deep.
Helm's Deep, yeah. And Gimli is at the top, and he's bitching about how he can't see over the thing. And he says, I remember sitting there and him saying that thing, and the whole crowd getting that and it felt like everybody was on the same page. And it was
dude.
Yeah. Those are universally loved.
Dude, anytime on all three of those movies, because I went opening night for all three.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
And anytime Legolas did something badass,
yeah,
every single time.
You got claps,
dude,
you got
claps,
woos.
standing ovations.
Yeah.
I mean, and it was an energy, man. It was a really interesting energy.
I mean, shit, I can't really think of that kind of movie experience other than Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
because even going to the new Star Wars movies, because I mean, we went to them, and I realized that we didn't go fucking opening night.
No,
I went pretty close to opening night with Force Awakens, though.
Same here.
And I still don't feel like that. Like, seriously, that movie was over, and people got up and walked out.
I think I might have went opening night for Jedi.
Yeah, but what happened? People got up and walked out, didn't they? At the end of Lord of the Rings, people were fucking clapping and happy and sitting there going, "That was amazing!
Yeah.
Did you see this movie?
Did you see that shit?"
Yeah, for every one of those, and you're right. It caused the other issue is that it was so good and caused this phenomenon that was so like, look, man, this is true to the source material. It's some new shit that a lot of people haven't seen before.
Yeah.
It's top-notch quality with amazing actors. The sound is probably the best that we're gonna get, and then and the picture quality is and the score is like it's memorable, but it's also like very modern in the way that it's done. And there's like. There's so many elements of realism in the film, like the Weta stuff. Everything about it is the perfect storm, and because of that, it's fucked up every movie since then. Because now they have a gold standard that everybody's like, well, we gotta be better than Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, exactly. Always.
Yeah. Now every battle has to be compared to Lord of the Rings.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
And I love the gold standard that was set.
Yeah,
that's the problem. Because I love it so much. So watching this movie again, I didn't realize that the extended edition is 3 hours and 45 minutes.
Yep.
That's real long.
Yeah, super long, which is why we're not doing the other two yet.
It's a long movie, guys.
But man, that DVD set, like you were saying, dude,
yeah,
that is what all other DVDs are judged by.
The original extended edition of Lord of the Rings, where it was the books that you open up and had all the other discs, and everything was a map when you opened it up and all that. That was the set that was like, all right, if you can't make a set that looks cool like this, then get the fuck out of the game.
Get the fuck out of here.
And then after that, that's when we started getting crazy. Like, oh, it comes with a figure. It comes with a spaceship.
Like a real spaceship?
Yeah. It's all the Terminator movies in a Terminator skull that you open up and it becomes the disc holder, and you're like, okay, guys, this is
a little much.
I just wanted extra features.
Yeah, because that's what I was about to say. Because I've probably watched those behind the scenes more than I've watched the actual movie.
There's more hours of them.
Yeah. Well, like, no, I'm
you don't
talking about
I know
more
what you're
time.
Saying. But quantifiably, there's definitely more hours of special features.
Absolutely.
I can't think of another movie that the special features are that interesting, though.
Yeah.
And I like special features.
I love them.
You love them. I like them.
Yeah, because I am one of those people that even if I haven't ever seen the movie, I will watch the special features on the DVD first, especially if it's like behind the scenes or hey, how'd they build this thing? Ooh, how'd they do that thing? Like, and I think that my love of that literally came from
Lord of the Rings.
This movie
again, the gold standard, right?
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
So,
well, it's because they were making like Peter Jackson was essentially filming 4 fucking films. You know, he was filming the 3 in the trilogy and a documentary.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
And maybe he wasn't holding the camera the whole time, but there are moments where he's just like, oh man, I knew I had to get this on camera. And it's just people just hanging out on the sets and shit.
Yeah. I didn't really think about that.
Because he was talking about when they found the field that they built Hobbiton in.
Oh yeah, the little hilly
by the way,
side.
Tangent real quick. Hobbiton exists somewhere in this world, guys.
You can go there.
You can go there. It's in New Zealand. They didn't tear that set down at all.
And other tangent, by the way, we found out something pretty hilarious.
Oh.
So during the scene when they get to
it's Elrond's council.
Yeah, it's at the Council of Elrond. Exactly. Yeah. So when they're when they're all standing around, you know, and then everybody gets in a big argument because dwarves are racist. Then Man, dwarves are real racist.
Dwarves are racist.
They are
They
fucking
just-
assholes. You elf piece of shit.
Yeah,
It's like,
right.
God, man. But they anyway. I noticed one of the elves to the far right, and I had to pause it and stare at him. I was like, Scott, do you know who this is?
Yeah.
And he was like, "No, man." And we looked it up. It's fucking Brett.
Yeah.
From
Fly to the Conchords. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I didn't, he looked like him, and I was just like, nah, there's no fucking way.
But dude, it's from New Zealand.
New Zealand.
It's New Zealand. Yeah, because at first that's what I thought. I was like, nah, it can't be him. Wait a second, they're in New Zealand. Wait a second. And it's absolutely him. We looked it up. He even has a name, Filkier or something like that. Philnir.
Philwit.
Philwit.
Finwit.
Fickwy.
Maybe, whatever.
Flicky over here.
Flicky.
Well,
so Flicky.
So Brett the Flicky is he is a named character, but we just can't remember him. And he's also in the other two movies.
He's also really quick.
Yeah, he's real quick.
He plays
a side character.
He's not in Two
just,
Towers.
Oh, he's just in.
He's just
because he's in the
Return,
last battle.
and
I
he's
would imagine.
and he's a different elf, I would assume.
No, it just said unnamed. So he's just there, and they just didn't make him.
No, it's uncredited. He's uncredited.
Yeah, but I don't think it had a
character
different name. I really don't think it had a different name. I think it just said like Elf Guard or something, or
Yeah,
Elf General,
something like that.
which
Yeah.
means it would be the same guy. They just didn't bother to make him important.
Right.
You know.
Well, they didn't really bother to make him important
It's-
in this
it's-
one either.
It's Brit. Okay.
Yeah, it is Brit.
Hey, Brit.
Hey, Brit.
All right,
I love it.
Brit. Present.
Prison. Yeah.
Do you mind? Present.
Yeah. I love that fucking show. Anyways, so Aragorn.
Yeah. I was saying this. I had trouble watching this movie the first time because I referred to him as Strider for much longer than they do in this movie. Like, I feel like they quickly switch to the Aragorn.
They just drop
thing.
that
They
real
kinda,
quick.
Yeah.
By the time they get to Rivendell,
He's Aragorn at that point.
Yeah.
A descendant of Isildur, and they start going into his lineage right there.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying they don't do that in the book, but it's still very. So it's probably just because in the book they have to constantly say people's names.
Yeah.
That's
probably what
that's
it
all
is.
it is.
Yeah.
You don't have to say someone's name every time
In a movie.
Yeah, you see
Yeah.
them. You know
who they are. Yeah, you know what they're doing.
You don't forget every time they go away. You're not like, wait, who's this guy talking again? Imagine if movies were like that. You had no idea who anybody was.
Anytime anybody says a line.
Wait, who are you?
Aragorn says.
Yeah, Aragorn says, and then he has to say.
Who says the line?
They're saying the liner notes. That's what it is.
Yeah.
But no, so when I first watched the film, it did throw me off quite a bit that he wasn't referred to as Strider past a certain point. Because I was like, wait, he's Strider. Well, why is everybody calling him Aragorn? He's fucking Strider. He's Strider.
Yeah.
I know he is Aragorn, but he's Strider in my head. Okay, he's still, especially during this part of the story.
Yeah.
But that's just it's semantics. It
Well,
doesn't.
yeah.
But his character, on the other hand,
Is fucking awesome.
is amazing.
It's really
dude.
cool.
Yeah.
Well, and Viggo Mortensen, and this is probably the first, and this is the first thing that I really remember him from.
Yeah. This
whatsoever.
This and then a couple years later is when I saw Layer Cake.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he's in Layer Cake. Am I fucking thinking of? Okay, keep going.
Anyways. Yeah, look that up.
I'm gonna do that.
Is he in Layer Cake?
Because I'm wondering if that's James Bond that's in Layer Cake.
Yeah. It is James Bond.
Okay, then
It is James
maybe
Bond.
Vigo isn't in that.
No.
I'm gonna try to find this other movie. You talk,
Anyways.
Scott. Talk
So,
amongst yourselves.
Well, I do think it's interesting that Viggo Mortensen ended up being such a perfect fit for that part, seeing as
totally.
how he, they were already shooting by the time he was cast, because they had cast this other dude, and then while they were shooting, it was like, oh, maybe he's too young. Hey Viggo, you want to be in this movie? And he refused to use any of the stunt swords. He used
He used the real
He
weapons.
used the real one all the time.
He wanted the swing to look right, man.
Jesus,
no, I got him.
Yeah.
Oh shit, he was in Psycho.
Like the remake?
Yeah, the 98 Psycho.
Oh.
Yeah, that's probably the first time I ever saw him. He's also in G.I. Jane, so I probably saw him in a couple of things and didn't know who the hell he was.
Didn't know who he was. But this was the first movie that you were just like, oh, that's Vigo.
Yeah.
He's Vigo!
Hidalgo. Hidalgo and History of Violence are the ones that I saw after that. I was thinking of Eastern Promises.
Oh, were you?
When I was talking to you about A History of Violence. I was totally thinking of Eastern Promises.
Oh, dang.
That's
so different.
Hey, both of those movies are cool. History of Violence and Eastern Promises. Because now that I look at History of Violence, that one's also cool. But that's not the one I was thinking of. Yeah. Eastern Promises is super cool because it's about the Russian mob. But yeah, those three movies are the only ones that, other than Lord of the Rings, that were really like, oh, hey, this guy. And it took a couple of years for those to be the other movies. Because Lord of the Rings, another crazy thing about it is that it was just shot as one continuous thing.
Yep.
Unlike any other trilogy that we have.
For the most part.
Probably one of the reasons it's stable throughout the whole thing.
Well, and they had a lot of organization. There was a lot of
you know
why?
Oh shit! You mean they thought about the movie they were going to make?
They thought about it.
Fuck.
And, because that can't be said for The Hobbit.
Man, no.
Yeah.
The Hobbit was slapdash.
They did the same thing. So it's not just that they filmed it all at one time. It's that they filmed it all at one time and they thought about it. They had, the time to really.
Is that the reason Del Toro dropped off of The Hobbit, because he didn't think they were taking it correctly, or is it just because they were pausing it too many times and he had other things to do?
Yeah. I don't really know.
I bet he was
like the real reason.
Yeah.
I imagine it was something to do with
I'm going to go make big robots fight.
Well, I imagine it was more the studio pulling it away from him to some degree, because he was super broken up when he had to leave that project.
Yeah, absolutely.
So so I wouldn't imagine he would have done it voluntarily unless something really fucked happened.
Yeah, and I also know there was that project right after Lord of the Rings that everybody was hearing that Peter Jackson and Neil Blomkamp were working on a Halo movie.
Yeah.
And that was a thing for a while. Yeah. Neil Blomkamp, Peter Jackson, Halo. And then Neil Blomkamp ended up making District 9 out of the remnants of that stuff.
That project.
Which is why if you look at a lot of the stuff from District 9, you're like, wait a second, why does that kind of look like Halo gear?
That's why.
It's close enough. Yeah, they'd basically painted stuff and modified it enough to where they couldn't get sued.
Right.
But yeah, and I would have loved to see a Halo film done by Peter Jackson, Lord of the Rings style.
Yeah.
But the issue with Halo, as opposed to Lord of the Rings, is that they can't practical effects a lot of that stuff.
Nope.
And it wouldn't have the charm that Lord of the Rings does.
Right.
It's also part of the problem that The Hobbit has, is they went way too far on the CG and forgot about how charming the practical effects are.
Right.
Hell, I would even say the other two movies
kind of did that a little bit, especially in Return of the King.
Dude, well, but Return of the King was all battles, so they
kind of had to.
They kind of had to.
Yeah.
It was because
and
the
shit was
mouth of Sauron is fucking practical.
Yeah.
And he's
well, they blow his mouth up digitally.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's why it looks so whack.
Yeah, but it is the dude's. Like,
it's his mouth, and that's his helmet. Like, they made that helmet.
That's
I want
his
that helmet.
personal helmet.
That's his.
He brought it from home.
Yeah, it's my helmet. I actually am the mouth of Sauron.
Oh.
It's a Max Shrek situation.
Right. They just found this dude in a cave.
So, hold on a second. I got to pause here, because you said something to me the other day. Is Christopher Walken's character in Batman Forever's name Max Shrek?
Yes.
Like Max Shrek?
Max Shrek.
Okay, that's all.
Okay.
That's all. Okay, proceed. I'm just making sure that wasn't some kind of misnomer.
That you didn't dream that?
I didn't. I'm like, Max Shrek? You said Max Shrek?
Like Max Shrek?
Like Max...
Nosferatu?
Yeah. Okay, so he's Nosferatu. that has to be intentional. It has
Had
to be. I mean, it is Tim Burton. So you think that's why he did it? Because
Probably.
Tim Burton's a little goth princess?
Yeah. Fucking goth.
I mean,
goth princess.
Man, I swear to God, I love Tim Burton.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I love some Tim Burton.
Some bit, yeah.
I love.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Hold on. I mean,
I really like some Tim Burton.
I like 5 Tim Burtons.
5 Tim Burtons. That's what I mean. But
Yeah.
he's always looked like the member of the Cure that got kicked out.
Oh God.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't do anything. You just sit in the corner and cry. You can't be in the Cure.
Yeah.
You have to play songs sometimes.
You have to do
okay?
something other than cut yourself.
Yeah. Okay. We all do enough of that.
Right. Anyways, so Fellowship of the Ring.
That one wasn't a good
That one
segue.
wasn't a good one. I used them all up, man. I used them all up. So yeah,
don't worry about
going through the characters. So what you think of? What you think about Gimli?
Oh, I love him. He's a
Yeah.
racist, but I love
That
him.
was.
See, okay, so here's my theory about dwarves, right?
Yeah.
Because this is kind of what I was talking about. I mean, to really quickly, Gimli is the quintessential dwarf.
Yeah. That's
He's
the whole reason
the
he's there.
dwarf,
He's
dude.
the dwarf. Yeah.
And he's the dwarf that anybody sees in their brain when you say a dwarf from
Absolutely.
fantasy.
Absolutely.
Then you go, oh yeah, there you go, and you
Yeah,
see
it's
Gimli.
Gimli.
You see
Yeah.
Gimli, or some Gimli-esque dwarf man.
Well, something that was like, even if it isn't Gimli, it's something that Gimli inspired.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anytime that I see anybody draw a dwarf, anybody that's like, oh, well, it's dwarves based on that look. It is that look, okay?
That very angular, like, kind of architecture, like geometric shapes
With a Norse undertone. Big bushy beards, giant mustaches, short dudes, broad axes, fingers like sausages. Yeah. Yep. Big old honking
sausage.
noses.
Yeah.
Big wide noses. I love a Gimli's story in I guess it's in Two Towers, where he's talking about how because he's talking to the chick from Rohan, right? Where he's talking about how they don't know the difference between most people don't know the difference between men and women, because the women also have beards, you know. And he's like, because of that, it leads to other people thinking that there are no women, that dwarves just spring up out of the ground.
Oh, that's what it is he doesn't say that it's because of the beards.
Yeah.
She turns around and Aragorn is just like, it's because of the beards.
Yeah, he just does. You're right about that.
Right.
Yeah, and I love that. I love that contextual stuff, you know, and that's good building. But what I was getting to before, so the races, right?
Yeah.
The good races, the major ones, that is, are pretty much the 3 big ones.
Yeah.
So that's
the
humans,
elves.
dwarves, and elves.
Yeah.
Humans, dwarves, and elves, man.
Right.
And dwarves they have a consistent idea about them.
Yeah.
They dig into things.
Yeah.
That's what they do. You know, they go into the ground. They like to carve into stuff. They like to isolate themselves. They're very, you know, they're focused on their goal. You know, they're isolationists.
They're constantly going deeper.
Which is part of the reason why they're racist. Because think about people that live fucking in holes in the ground and never really experience the rest of the world, and all they deal with is dwarves. They're going to come out and be like, you people are weird. I don't like your customs.
Yeah.
Your mead sucks.
Your mead sucks.
You know, that's just the way that's going to happen, especially in a fantasy world, you know. Because they're not just like, you know, human racial differences where they're basically are just
it might
such
be
subtle differences
ideological too, because
Mm-hmm.
because the dwarves are more like, you know, we're going to move this shit out of the way, and the elves are just like, we're just going to build around it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kind of thing.
Well, that's that whole thing. Yeah, so humans deconstruct, they destroy and rebuild. That's the way humans work. Dwarves take something and modify it.
Yeah.
Elves work around it.
Yeah.
And that's the way these 3 things work. So it's 3 different mindsets.
Yeah.
And you can see that in everything that each of these people do, which also is the reason why man is failing.
Yeah.
Man wants to deconstruct and change,
Yeah.
you know? And it's our folly. And it's kind of a speaking towards actual people, you know? You know, by the way, on the racial thing, just really quick here, Are there any black folks in this movie?
No.
Just no? Just no?
Just no.
Just no.
Just no.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. That's odd. Okay.
Yeah.
I was really digging. I was like, man, there's got to be somebody, right?
Somebody,
Maybe
right?
there's like a black elf or something somewhere.
Yeah.
No.
No.
No Dunmer.
No dumber.
No. Man.
Wow.
I always thought it's funny that in Morrowind and like the Elder Scrolls universe, black folks are just red guards.
Oh yeah,
it's red guards.
It's red guards.
I think that was the second game where you go to the red guard place. I think so. But anyway,
nice.
That's a weird one, man. That's a real weird one.
Yeah, really thinking about that.
Yeah,
you know,
I wonder. You couldn't do that now. You'd get in trouble for it. You know, somebody has some shit to say about it, and I doubt it was a conscious decision by any means. You know, they were just going like, "Well, Aragorn's a white guy, obviously." And then,
it's
they're elves, so you know.
It's supposed to be a English legend.
It's Europe, yeah. It's
Europe,
It's which is to bring it on back. Since it is an allegory for Europe,
there's also no New Zealanders in the main cast. You know?
Well, where did New Zealanders come from? Europe. But the allegory towards it being or the metaphor rather of it being towards like Europe, you know, because I hadn't really thought about that exactly, but I talked about this earlier with it being the Shire. Is the idealized version of England in J.R.R. Tolkien's head, because if you think about it, he's in war, he just misses home, he feels a lot like how Bilbo felt. You know,
well, he feels a lot like how Frodo
or even Sam feels. Even Sam.
All of the hobbits. All they want to do is finish this shit, or all they want to do at the beginning is just go home.
They just want to go back home, and I think that's how he felt, and I think that's a very pure thing that comes out in quite a few characters, like you're saying. But that's all he wants us to go back to his fine English village, you know, with his cheese and his bread and
his rocking chair and his pipe.
That's it,
with his weed,
man. And it's a really great. Thing to think about this. I've always made this joke about J.R.R. Tolkien sitting in the trenches. You know, and some English guy comes up and he goes, "Oh, there, what are you writing?" I just finished a letter to my sweetie. Does that bloody Elvish? Oi! Hey, this guy's writing in Elvish over here. It's gone bonkers.
It's gone bonkers. Who can read that?
People will be able to read it in the future.
Well, I always think it's interesting that Tolkien always said he was just like, I was just frustrated with, a lot of English legends being, modified from other people's, other people's legends.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
so
the King Arthur myth is more French.
Oh, yeah.
And then Beowulf is more
Norse.
Yeah, more Norse and like Anglo-Saxon and shit like that. And so he was just like, I wanted to give England like an actual legend.
Yeah, I got you.
So that's why he wrote these stories,
So
that's kind of how they approach the filmmaking. That's why so many things look so real. That's why they dug into the details of this world, because it wasn't just hey, we're making a fantasy out of a fantasy book. It's weird. No, we're making history. But we're gonna film it like it's a historical epic. That's why it's like just has such like a deeper impact.
Yeah, and it bleeds through in all the facets of it. I mean, so we were talking about earlier how Elvish is actually a language you can learn.
Yeah,
So back to the characters, Legolas, Elrond, Galadriel.
Yeah.
Oh man, what's her name?
Kate Blanchett.
Yeah,
she is perfectly cast as Galadriel.
Perfectly, dude.
Yeah.
Yep. And everybody
super elegant, but also like very like obviously like very wise, but also kind of dangerous.
She
to a
commands.
degree.
She commands power.
Yeah.
Without it, man, I don't know. She has this otherworldly look to her, like especially when she's first talking to the Fellowship.
Yeah.
And she's kind of seeing into all their souls.
Yeah.
She's not.
Dude, she wrecks Boromir.
Ooh,
She wrecks him
man.
hard.
It's like she makes him sick to his stomach by looking at him. You know, instantly. He knows the poison that's in him, and that's weird too, because he knows what he's about to do, and he still does it.
Well, she knows what he's about to do.
I think he
and
does
she
too.
Lets him.
I think he does too.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
And it's. But she's very commanding. She's very powerful in that role. But she's also elegant and beautiful, and she's a super well balanced.
Gimli just turns into a stuttering mess, and it's fucking adorable. I love it. Oh my
man.
god.
He totally does. Oh, it does.
Well, maybe, possibly, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah. Dude, he's hilarious. So cute.
I love it.
And she just looks at him like, oh, this
all right.
this is adorable.
Here you go. Here's 3.
She gave me 3.
I love it, dude.
I got some lambus.
Lammas bread. That's really funny.
Yeah.
That just says so much about like the Hobbit's mentality.
It's all food. It's all just food, dude.
Well, and they check off gun that shit when they're talking about second breakfast.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah. I
Merry and
definitely
Pippin
like.
are fucking great.
I definitely like Merry and Pippin.
What a wonderful comedy duo.
Especially how much that Gandalf fucking hates Pippin.
Dude, Gandalf just cannot deal with him. Like don't get me wrong, he can deal with him as far as like just put him in his fucking place.
He doesn't want to.
He does not like that dude.
He doesn't like him at all.
At all.
And
he
never
fucking
has.
hates him.
So Gandalf is the wizard. Like the wizard, right?
Like the wizard.
Like the fucking wizard.
Again, there's so much like. When you're talking about Lord of the Rings, you're literally talking about the reason that
fantasy exists.
That fantasy is the way that it is.
Yeah, because like you were saying about
John Carter. Yeah, John Carter of Mars.
This isn't that far off in the timeline from John Carter as far as when John Carter was written. Because think about that. If he was in World War One, writing the Silmarillion, then that's probably about the same time as Robert E. Howard was. No, that was before Robert E. Howard. So that was.
No. Well,
because but John Carter couldn't have been before the 20s. It couldn't have been.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess it would have been around the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's John Carter and it's Lord of the Rings are the two biggest stemming things for science fiction and fantasy.
Yeah,
those are the two origins.
Because you can draw a lot of parallels to really any sci-fi science fiction like story back to John Carter.
Yeah, and the same thing with fantasy.
And the same thing with fantasy with Lord of the Rings. I mean, he think about it. When you think about traditional fantasy, what do you get? Elves, dwarves, humans, wizards, orcs. Wizard, rogue, or wizard, archer, warrior, ranger,
gauntlet.
Gauntlet. Yeah, gauntlet, D&D.
Yeah, that's what you get. That's where all this comes from. Yeah. And this is sword and sorcery perfected.
Yeah.
You know, because we talked about Conan, where sword and sorcery was at its height in the 80s.
Yeah.
But it was like a short burst of, hey,
and
then
here we go. Well, and this was kind of the same way, because, after this came out, how many sword and sorcery things really... matched it.
It took until Game of Thrones for them to make something that was even kind of like
close, but it was
not the same. It's a different thing.
Absolutely not. It's not the same.
But I can't think of a whole lot of sword and sorcery
except for Scene Bean.
The Hobbit, but that again,
Hobbit's not good.
It's just disappointing, man. The first one's good.
The first one's okay.
I still just don't understand how the fuck in a 72-minute cartoon you can get the point across that they barely got across in 3 fucking full-length movies. Can you explain this to me, Peter?
He didn't want to do it, man.
I know.
He didn't want to do it.
Man, should have given it to Joss Whedon.
You can't give everything to Josh Whedon.
Why not?
You can't. He can't do everything.
But I love Gandalf. And to talk about Gandalf,
I love that
we then have to talk about
I love that. Okay, so when Ian McKellen or when Gandalf's in Hobbiton Bag End, and he hits his head. I love that wasn't in the script. That just actually happens, and that's the noise that he makes.
It's the natural noise that comes out of an Ian McKellen.
Yeah.
If you hit an Ian McKellen on the head, then he goes, "Oh!" So try it sometime. You'll see.
Hit your Ian McKellen.
Please don't hit your Ian McKellen. No one hit Ian McKellen. Hug Ian McKellen. Actually, don't hug Ian McKellen. Leave him the fuck alone. Okay, how about that?
How about you just leave him alone?
How about you just wave from a distance and say thank you and walk away? Just do that. Thank you. That's what you do to your Ian McKellen.
Nice.
No, but to talk about Ian McKellen and his amazing role as the Good Wizard, I have to talk about Christopher Lee.
Oh boy,
and his fucking intense role as Saruman.
Yeah, dude.
I love Christopher Lee's voice, and Christopher Lee as Count Dooku is dope.
Yeah,
and that's
super dope.
Where my last this is where Christopher Lee is.
Yeah,
because the first one
is that our Kevin Bacon.
That's our Kevin Bacon.
Okay.
Yeah. Because this one is coming right after. Is this before Attack of the Clones?
No.
This is right after Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
But before Revenge of the Sith.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So the last time that I saw ChristopherLee in something was him as Dooku.
Captain
which was already...
Was Captain Clones.
It was Captain Clones. So in Captain Clones, he played, Dooku, and which I loved him as Dooku.
Yeah.
So right off the jump, I was like, oh, cool, it's him. And then his performance as Saruman, I was like, fuck, Count Dooku.
Yeah, dude.
Oh my God, Saruman is the evil wizard of my dreams. Like
absolutely.
He's his quivering voice.
Yeah.
Like he just has such a.
Well, he just has such a commanding. Presence. I mean, it's like I said when we were watching the movie. Christopher Lee could probably read the phone book. And sound commanding.
He could, dude. Well, do you know about that metal album Christopher Lee did?
Smith.
Yeah.
496
7. Like, do you know?
7.
Do you know about that metal album he has?
Christopher Lee has a metal album.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
It's like a. I mean, it's that like Cradle of Filth, like gothic. I don't want to say industrial. I don't think it's industrial, but I think it's like a gothic melodic kind of symphonic thing.
Yeah.
And it's him over the top with spoken word. I mean, it's.
We're gonna have to look this up whenever we get done here.
If I had a haunted house, that's what would play.
It would play just Christopher Lee.
Christopher Lee. So what if Christopher Walken was Saruman? Gandalf, we need to join Saruman. Come on.
There's no hope.
There's no hope for you.
For you. The realm of men
is over.
Will fall. That's all. Mine was a little. This is what this podcast has devolved into. It's just
doing
us,
real bad impressions.
We
are sorry. We're gonna continue. No, but Christopher Lee is like
he's the perfect bad wizard, man.
Dude, he is, and the old man fight is so awesome.
Do you think they did their own stunts?
No.
Is it because they would have broken themselves?
Yeah, that'd be a bad move. Yeah.
They want realism. Peter Jackson is the director. He needs realism.
They said that shit to Ian McKellen. He's like, I already cracked my skull on bloody Hobbiton.
I love it. They tell this story about Christopher Lee trying to like sit in his throne, but his robe was too long, and so like he did it a few times.
to hem my
Yeah, and he
dress.
starts complaining. He's just like, I can't do it because of these robes. and Peter Jackson's like, well, you did it earlier.
It's a Saruman.
Yeah, this is just like, oh well.
I want makeup.
Yeah. Well, you don't get it. I love it.
Yeah, that's fucking great, man. But Christopher Lee, you know, he's the like we were saying, the Uruk-hai general is the boss of this movie.
Yeah.
And then Saruman is the boss of the next movie.
Next one.
Right.
And then we have a flaming eye.
Yeah, a big old eye.
Big old eye, the next one.
That they got to go spit in.
You must go spit in the eye of Mordor.
Mordor.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
What was that we were saying?
Yeah, there's a direct correlation to how nerdy you are with Lord of the Rings to how much you roll the R's in the word Mordor. You know, if you say it straight like Christopher Lee, Mordor, then you're getting there. You know, you're
close.
You're close, man.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's a.
And you go, Mordor.
Wait, is it Mortar?
Mortar?
Murder? Is it murder?
Murder?
Mountain Doom. I played that game. I like that, dude.
Yeah. Mountain Doom.
Mountain Doom.
Hey, man, can I get a Mountain Doom?
Mountain Doom. Mountain Doom. Oh, my God.
Yeah,
Mountain Doom. Son of a bitch.
Did I just create the best thing?
You made something real funny. I know
Real
that.
funny.
I see it in my head. I see Mountain Doom in my head.
Doom. It's just a mountain with like Mountain Dew that spurts out instead of lava.
It just seems like one of those, like if there was a show, like a Disenchanted reference where they'd be like, oh, well, which soda do you want? And they'd be like, oh, I'll take a Mountain Doom.
Yeah.
Like that sounds like what that is.
Probably,
you know?
Yeah.
So I really like the weight of the ring on Frodo.
Absolutely.
Elijah Wood. So what I was saying to you, the thing I knew Elijah Wood for more than anything else before this was The Good Son.
Yeah, and I had forgotten that he was in that.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen that in a while.
Good Son's dope.
Yeah.
Him and Macaulay Culkin. You know,
good actors. There's a reason they were.
Amazing child actors.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I mean, who doesn't fucking like Home Alone?
Come on.
Seriously, what's wrong with you?
If you,
Yeah,
Kevin, it's got got John. What is it? John Candy? It's got John Candy in it.
Oh wow.
I mean,
but man, like but The Good Son though. So The Good Son is this, you know, like really creepy. Psychological thriller kind of thing with this kid that's a murderer, pretty much a little sociopath bastard.
Yeah,
and he's
Elijah Wood's the one trying to
stop his little crazy ass without ratting on him because he also doesn't want to, you know, get fucked up because
snitches get stitches
because even kids know,
right?
Okay. But his performance as Frodo though is I mean, it's just amazing. The issue with him being Frodo though is I don't think he'll ever be able to shake that. Like it's a, you know,
I think it's gonna take some time. And somebody like giving him a role that like, you know, is real different. Like he's gonna have to Yeah.
You know, Wilfred is the antithesis of Frodo.
Pretty much.
Well, maybe not. I don't know. They're both like real sketched out.
Yeah,
like
that's the
Wilfred
thing.
is Frodo at the very end.
At the very end, barely hanging on.
And you know, there's a big talking dog.
Right.
That's the same, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that the same?
You don't remember that chapter?
Yeah.
They left it out of the movie.
Where there's a big
Frodo has a big talking dog.
Australian talking dog.
Australian talking dog.
But yeah, I definitely like, you know, his portrayal of Frodo. I love the playfulness between him and Gandalf. They have the rapport, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love the way that him and Bilbo play back and forth with each other, you know.
Well, and his friendship with
Sam, dude, which is
so sweet.
Which is what I was getting to, is Sam. Sam is the friend that everybody wants.
Absolutely.
And in this movie,
Sam is the friend that everybody needs.
Everybody needs. That's what it is, man.
Yeah.
But in this movie, you only see the sweetheart Sam.
Yeah.
You don't see when Sam is fed up with his friend.
Yeah,
know?
not really.
Because that's a funny part about the end point of this
because
film.
he has to be the center, man.
That's right.
He's the only thing keeping Frodo from like really going off the edge.
My Sam.
My Sam. Aww.
But he
just kiss him already.
Yeah, really. But like the progression of Sam throughout the films is also really good. I love the way that he's such a good friend that he's pissed off at his friend for not being better.
Pretty much.
And that's something that like it I don't think I took that into full account when I was watching it, you know, when I was younger.
Before.
I was like, well, Sam's kind of pissed off now. Oh.
Yeah.
But now that I've gotten older and realized what real friends are, he was looking at him and being like, fuck you, man, you're better than this.
Yeah.
Fuck you for trying to quit. Why are you quitting? Why are you letting this little nasty shit get in your head? You're listening to the scumbag that tried to kill you a bunch of times?
Right.
I'm your Sam. Right.
I'm your Sam.
But you know.
But yeah, man, that is like fucking Sam is a fixed point, man.
Mm-hmm.
If it wasn't for Sam, Frodo wouldn't have made it. You know. At all.
Yeah.
Agreed. And he tried to leave his ass. Mm-hmm. And he tried to leave his ass.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But that's because but him trying to leave Sam is not because he doesn't appreciate Sam.
No, absolutely
it's
not.
Absolutely
it's
because he cares
opposite.
for him so much that he doesn't want to burden him with this. He's like, I can't give this to anybody else. I don't.
Right.
He doesn't trust anyone else besides Gandalf.
Right.
It's Gandalf and Sam, and no one else can he truly trust.
Yeah.
Because he saw what it did to everybody at the council.
Yeah.
At Elrond's council, he watched a group of grown-ups, of leaders of their kind,
just bicker,
act like children.
Yeah.
Just in a split second. And
I love the way they frame it.
Yeah.
In the ring.
It's the reflection of the power of the ring.
Exactly.
In the group of people.
Yeah.
And it shows you that like as a visual cue.
This movie's so well fucking shot.
Really.
Peter Jackson doesn't get enough praise for how good of a fucking director he is.
Has been.
At least
have you seen Mortal Engines?
Was. I have not.
I'd really like to watch that.
Yeah.
You know?
Did he direct that or did he just produce it?
I'm not sure. I know that he definitely had a hand in it. I'd still like to see it.
It'd be interesting.
Mortal Engines actually looked pretty cool. It kind of looked like versus Howl's Moving Castle. Okay, but you know,
Howl's Moving Castle versus.
Yeah, it's like. Yeah. Howl's Moving Castle Arena EX.
Yeah, like
it's that'd be funny as fuck, dude.
Super Smash Castle.
God damn it! What if they made a Studio Ghibli fighter? What if Arc System Works made a Studio Ghibli fighter?
And one of the characters was the cat. Was Howl's house?
It's the castle. Yeah, yeah. I like.
He plays the cat.
Yeah, man. I play as Totoro. What you talking about?
Like the cat bus.
Yeah. Oh, the bus. You can be the bus.
Well, I did mean the cat too, because he's badass.
Yeah, but you'd hit that bus on him.
Yeah, hit the bus on him
with the bus. Hit him with the umbrella.
Yeah.
Umbrella bus.
Umbrella.
Yeah. Hit you with the Totoro combo.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Overall, you know, as soon as I saw this movie, I had this feeling of, oh, I'm glad I was wrong.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You're talking about... Because you went in with a lot of skepticism. Dude, I went in with this is going to be fucking amazing. And it was.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I was talking about earlier, is just like, I remember that hype cycle for all 3 movies, especially this one.
Does hype pay off like it did then ever now?
Sometimes.
Yeah, I know. A new Dark Souls comes out sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happens.
Not anymore. Aww.
Well, I mean, Sekiro came out.
Well, true. Yeah.
You know, and they're working on this game with George R. R. Martin. You know.
Oh, okay, cool.
Did you know about that?
No, I did not.
Yeah, Dark Souls with the story and the world written by George R. R. Martin.
Yeah.
Or I don't think it's the story of the game, but it's all of the world building and all of the pre-context of why everything works.
Yeah.
It's that, and then Miyazaki took that and helped him a little bit with the concepts, and then applied it to a game world.
And I think that's why Fellowship of the Ring works so well, is because of its world building.
It's world building.
I'm back, baby.
You did it. You did it. You did it. Because all in all, Tolkien is the master of world
building. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He's the reason why people have a precedent for world building.
And this movie does such a good job of setting that world up.
Wonderfully.
You know, it sets up your characters, lets you know, you know, it makes this world feel alive.
So, when's the last time you've watched the non-extended version of this movie?
Oh, not since I got the extended version.
Exactly. It
like,
no longer exists. Does it?
There's no reason to watch it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So.
Unless for some reason I would want to do a comparison, which I'm like, why?
Yeah. But in that regard, though, I've definitely watched the non-extended version a couple of times.
Yeah.
I think I've seen the non-extended version on television. Right, I really think it was like on TV when I was at work, and you know, it was.
Well, I think
just, like,
we had the
passively.
VHSs.
Yeah,
like of them.
So, but even the non-extended version does a wonderful job of the world building.
Yeah,
it doesn't feel sparse on the important world building.
Right.
The extended version just gives you just a little bit
just
more.
a little bit extra
in every facet. Like but like for instance, here's one: the scene with Galadriel.
Yeah.
And she starts talking about her ring.
Yeah. You don't see that at all.
Man, we're talking about maybe an extra minute or two of dialogue.
Yeah.
But it helps out if you care.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't, it doesn't mess anything up. It doesn't make you not understand. It just is a little bit of extra meat.
Yeah.
You know? And I can't think of very many movies where the quality of the film isn't really changed by the extended version.
Right.
You know, like it's
the film was already good.
The film was already solid.
This is just a little extra seasoning.
Mm-hmm. Well, so like
like the
Gladiator, right?
Like so Star Wars.
Okay, Star Wars, yeah.
Like all the special edition bullshit. Some of it's cool, but some of it's kind of like we could have really done without this.
Everything in, especially the Fellowship, maybe not in the other two movies, but especially in the Fellowship, I still like the majority of the bonus scenes. Period.
Yeah,
this period,
for real,
you know?
Absolutely.
But in the Fellowship, they did a great job with you know, it's not really fat.
Yeah,
you know, it's more meat.
Yeah.
They didn't trim the fat. They just gave you a smaller
portion.
They gave you a fillet instead of the T-bone.
Yeah.
This is the T-bone. It's still not too fatty. It's perfectly marbled. The whole thing's perfectly marbled, but this is the T-bone.
Yeah.
Last time you had the fillet. And I know you love the fillet. Well, now you get a New York strip too. Okay?
Boy.
Now you also get a strip.
How many steaks am I going to have to eat?
Well, just the two.
Just
but,
the two.
You know,
Bye.
But the you know, it's this it's a synergy that I can't say works with other films, because some films well, like with Gladiator, you know, the extended stuff, again, hit or miss.
Yeah.
I think that the film is probably better in the short version, but a handful of those scenes add really cool context.
Yeah.
But man, most of those scenes are just like, Jesus, they're dragging on.
Yeah, and they just keep going.
And they added more like sword clashes during the fight scenes, which, you know, we get it. They won. Okay, we moved
they
on.
won.
You know.
Yeah, I got you.
But this doesn't feel like, you know, they made like, oh, we're gonna make more, you know, fighting happen with this. they really. I don't think that any of the stuff with the Uruk-hai attack at the end is actually extended. Maybe little tiny things, but
and
that's all there. Everything that's extended in this one is context, and it's so sparse.
And backstory. Like just people being like, hey, this is this person and this is why they're important.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's so spaced out. I didn't mean sparse. And it's so spaced out that it doesn't get draggy.
Right.
There's no real drag in this movie. And
Not at all. It's pretty. As soon as they leave back in, it's pretty. Like it's paced really well.
So they figured out how to make a movie that is authentic to the source material, modern for the time, as far as like top quality everything. Right. Paced perfectly.
Yep.
Potentially better than the books, right? Especially the second one. Two Towers is undeniably paced better.
I actually can't wait until we get to that one.
Yeah, I love that. I
really like Two Towers, but
yeah,
they just made it. They just made a great movie.
They had achievements on every level for this.
Absolutely.
The biggest battle scenes ever shot. Yeah. Well, that's for the later ones, of course, but still,
right.
It's hard not to lump these three movies into one movie because it was all shot together.
Well, it pretty much was one movie.
Yeah,
and that's why I think it works so well.
So if they had one big ass story for the last Star Wars trilogy and they had filmed it as one giant movie, do you think it would have made more goddamn sense? We hope. We fucking hope.
We would. I mean, we'd hope, but I mean, at the same time, there was a lot of wrong-headed decisions going in, to that anyway.
Because on that note, we have to address the thing we talked about, which is that Lord of the Rings caused the sequel, the trilogy-itis.
The true trilogy-itis.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, everybody was really wanting trilogies for a while, but it wasn't a super profitable venture.
It was
like
just the big boys doing it.
Yeah, it was just the big boys.
Because we got 3 Back to the Futures, and we got 3 Indiana
Godfathers.
Jones, and 3 Godfathers, and
3 Jaws.
That's
but
right.
Most of those weren't as
3 Home Alones.
Yeah, and most of these. Oh.
I was waiting for that to sink in. I was waiting.
We're having technical difficulties. Philip seems to think that there are 3 Home Alones. We're gonna have to reset.
I also thought that there was a second Highlander, but I guess I'm wrong.
Oh, shut it down! Shut it down! The public can't know about this, man. Fucking FBI is about to break down the door.
We're gonna get swatted because we talked about Highlander 2.
Yeah.
The forbidden knowledge.
But anyways,
the trilogy.
So this movie was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this movie was a huge deal. So it won 4 Oscars.
Hey.
It won 4 Oscars. So best cinematography, best makeup, best music and original score. They definitely deserve all that. But it lost and best effects, best visual effects.
Okay. Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
Yeah. But it was nominated for Best Picture, but it lost. You know what it lost to?
Better be something good.
A Beautiful Mind.
I knew it was A Beautiful Mind. I fucking knew it was A Beautiful Mind. I fucking knew it. Wow, that's so funny, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was exactly what I thought it was. I was like, it was A Beautiful Mind, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, which
Absolutely.
the funny thing is, A Beautiful Mind's okay.
It's okay.
Are people talking about A Beautiful Mind right now?
No, they're fucking. There's at least 2 of them that aren't.
Are there? Let's see, what is that? 12 hours of movie of A Beautiful Mind, an extended edition with maps? No.
And then even more behind the scenes.
We mapped out Russell Crowe's brain. No, man, it's like
it just looks like a telephone.
Yeah, I like A Beautiful Mind, but in retrospect, that's probably not accurate because of the impact that this movie had.
Well, no, absolutely
but that's not how
not.
these awards work. So,
No, it's not.
And I understand that. I do.
I mean, Oscars don't matter, but acclaim where where it's due, man. I mean, this movie was a huge deal.
Yeah.
And and of course the entire trilogy ended up being a huge deal.
I can't even imagine, 'cause think about, they had to have been done with filming Two Towers when The Fellowship hit.
When it was released.
When it was released
they were
at theaters.
done filming everything.
They were done.
They filmed for 15 months.
They didn't start post-production until after they filmed all three of them?
Yeah.
Dude, that's insane. That's
Yeah.
insanity.
So
he was just sitting back, just going.
He was doing post-production and editing for the other ones.
God, dude, it was all downhill while he was getting Oscars.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you fucking with me? That is so crazy, dude. This guy,
did it.
This guy not
He
only
fucking
did
did
it,
it.
he lined up all of it and then just wrote it on to the gold pile. That's what he did.
And that's why Peter Jackson was a genius back then.
Man.
He fucking figured out how to make this shit work.
Yeah, he figured out how to make the impossible happen.
Yeah.
And film changed because of this movie. Yeah, man.
Well, so that's about enough.
Yeah. About an hour.
Final thoughts, Phil?
Yeah, we are most definitely doing the next two at some point.
Yeah, definitely.
I
think this is I really like this one because it's very straightforward and it's just a straight solid movie and a good story. But I think the other two have a lot more meat. You know what I mean? Just a lot more. It gets into a lot more substance about the characters in the world a little bit more.
Yes. But as far as an introduction to what's going on
to the world,
this movie
to
does
Middle-earth,
everything it needs to sink your teeth into. It's
Absolutely.
got everything to make people come back day one to the next film.
To the next one.
Yeah, and
which it did.
Which it did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't blame people for not wanting to sit through the extended versions. I really don't. But if you're a real fan, it's hard not to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So if you're the kind of person that's just casually likes Lord of the Rings, I can get it why you don't want to sit through 4 hours of a movie.
I'm totally watching the rest of those fucking documentaries when I get home. Dude.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's my weekend, guys.
And that's the other thing. If you guys have never watched it, we highly recommend watching at least the Weta Workshop.
Yeah, at least that part.
That's my favorite one.
Yeah,
but
where it shows
the whole thing's
how
great. All the behind the scenes, them talking about the lore building, them talking about the characters, them going and kind of fucking with the crew.
Yeah,
every bit of it's great. You realize how much of a character Peter Jackson is.
Absolutely.
He's not just there my film is going to be perfect. No,
dude,
he made a perfect film because he made a culture of happy people
because he loves
it.
This story,
and he got a bunch of people that loved it on board.
Absolutely,
Christopher
This is
Lee.
a passion. This is a passion project.
Yeah,
a true blue passion project.
I bet most of the people that did this read Lord of the Rings not because they were doing this film, but because they'd already read it.
Well, Viggo Mortensen hadn't read it.
Yeah,
until
you're
he
right.
Started.
Viggo hadn't read it,
but that he's the only one that they've admitted to.
Yeah,
yeah.
But I know Christopher Lee was a huge Lord of the Rings fan.
He read Lord of the Rings every year.
He's one of those guys.
Yeah. Until he died.
Hail Satan, Christopher Lee.
Nice.
You know about that? His whole occult book.
No.
Yeah, he had a.
Christopher Lee's done so many things.
He has a.
He's just done so many things.
He had an occult book collection. I don't think it was a huge one, but he was always super interested because there's these interviews from the '60s.
Yeah.
Talking to him about Satanism and shit, and he's trying to play it off man, it's not a big deal.
Whatever.
It's just some books. It's just some
Satan.
books. I'm not. Not a cult leader or anything.
Yeah.
I just got some books. I don't even have that big of a collection. Come on.
Yeah.
He's totally playing it off, which means he loves the devil.
Absolutely.
That's that shit, man.
And that's where we're going to end the episode. Good night, everybody. Anyways, okay, so housekeeping. Check us out on Spotify, Anchor, and YouTube. And check us out on Facebook. And email us madcinemists@gmail.com. It's just, I keep getting into a hole during this part because I'm like, okay, I gotta remember to say this. I gotta remember to say
We're gonna
this.
make you a cue card.
We need, I need to just write all this down.
Yeah, either that or we're gonna get GLaDOS's voice to say it in the future.
Yes.
How much would it cost to pay Sean Bean to read our credits at the end of it? Huh?
You mean Scene Bean?
Yeah, but then we got to kill him, right?
Yeah, we had to kill him right after.
I don't think we can afford any of this.
Yeah. Well, no. We'll just put it in the contract.
Oh.
That's what he normally does.
Oh, okay.
We'll just read all the stuff and then we'll just stab him.
Yeah.
Cut it. Speaking of Sean Bean dying, next week we're going to be talking about Game of Thrones. And we're going to have a guest in our studio. Our
Big K.
Big K?
Carl, which doesn't start with a K. It's actually a C, but it's just funny.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Carl's cool. And he will be giving his insight to the Game of Thrones podcast. Our situation is going to be a little different on this one. We're not exactly covering it the same way that we normally do.
Yeah.
We have been basically watching the film together and then talking about it. We're not sitting down and watching a whole first season of Game of Thrones.
No, we're fucking not.
So instead, they are
Fellowship of the Ring was long. Almost 4 hours was long enough.
Whew.
I mean, I like you, Philip, but I don't want to spend that much time.
Have to start paying me rent if you're watching all that Game of Thrones at my house. But we're gonna. Carl and Scott are watching the first season, and I've read the book recently, so we're going to do a compare and contrast in our new Game of Thrones series called A Stark Contrast. So please stay tuned next week. And listen to us ramble about why Catelyn Stark is fucking stupid.
Is a dumb bitch.
Damn it, Catelyn.
That's what we're gonna end up changing that
Damn
to.
It, Catelyn.
It's like a stark contrast. It's gonna be just turn into
parentheses. Damn it, Catelyn.
That's what the whole episode's probably just gonna be. It's just gonna be us. Damn it, Catelyn! Damn it, Catelyn! What the fuck? What the fuck?
And that's where we end this one.
Thanks, guys. See you later.
Bye.